Greetings, geniuses. This video is going to cover another topic from the INFJ perspective, as usual, and we're going to talk about healing trauma of the past. And this is a subject near and dear to me, as it would be for anyone, and something that maybe as INFJs and all personalities we don't want to deal with for obvious reasons. And so I think it would be a good topic to discuss a little bit today. And so the question for all of us is, what do we do? How do we handle it? What's the technique for getting past the difficult situations of life, whether it was with another person or it was just an event and it was mostly internal, because oftentimes dreams will manifest to give us a clue that something is still there bothering us, or we just have anxiety or pain, some kind of stress, something that isn't right with our physical body, and we don't even know how it got there. And I would say I've experienced this, and it's one of the things that makes trauma so mysterious and hard to deal with, is because lots of times problems manifest from it indirectly but directly, and we don't even know when it started, how it started. And like myself, sometimes it takes years to even realize the connection. And oh yeah, that was actually had pain because of that happened to me. And so, you could be a total genius and not see the connection right away because it's kind of sneaky. And I would say, especially as INFJs, as the introverts we are, and empaths who tend to always focus on other people's emotions and feel other people's emotions, we tend to put ours in the back seat, and we're generally very good at dealing with trauma in the present and even long after the fact. But that makes us automatically more susceptible to have buried traumas in our subconscious, in our body somehow, which is going to affect us long term. So some of the things I've noticed that help me, and I'm still learning to do more of, would just be talking to others. It seems silly, simple, and ridiculous, but even though there's people that I trust in my not so large circle of friends, I only have a small few that I would say I really trust and feel like I could talk to. Each person I would kind of trust with different topics. So again, that makes it challenging, but sometimes we just have to do it. When we get to the point where we realize that some sort of trauma, whatever it is, even if it was 5, 10, 20 years ago or more, and it's somehow still bothering us, just that act of opening up and talking about it. And for me, I almost feel like I have to preface the conversation and start it with, I don't know why this is even bothering me, but do you mind if I just talk about it and get it out? And for me, that kind of helps get past the point of the awkwardness, because I already know I can trust them. They're my friend, and I'm kind of reaffirming that, hey, I really trust you. And then they understand where I'm coming from. And then I can just kind of open up and blurt everything out at that point. And I can do it much faster that way too, because I don't have to beat around the bush like I usually would do, and kind of just open up just barely enough to get something off my chest, even though I still kept it to myself. So INFJs can probably understand what I'm talking about right now. And some of you may be like, what are you saying? You're talking in circles. But it's a challenge, and it's almost like we never want to trust any more than we have to, because we've been let down many times by many people in different ways. But obviously talking and opening up to people is a good way to heal past trauma. If you know of a way that you can cry, I think it's obvious and well known that that is a healing thing for you to do. I could probably select a movie that I know is an emotional movie, and sometimes they describe movies as emotional, and I can cry easily to one of those, because obviously they're doing a masterful job of creating that event, that feeling, that storyline that INFJs can relate to. And yes, we can feel the energy from the movie when it's well done. And just like a good song, it can be created by artists who know how to do it. And so that can actually be a useful tool. I don't watch nearly as many movies as I used to, even a year ago, or especially compared to 10 years ago. It's probably down 90% or more. And I don't watch a lot of TV anymore. But if I could think of a useful purpose for movies, that would actually be one, I would have to say. Because in real life, it's kind of rare, right, that we have events culminate all into a singular moment that we're just brought to tears. But in a movie, in a setup that's literally set up against us to make us emotional, it does work. And so that's effective. And even letting out anger, well, obviously, I was going to say exercise, and I think that's probably obvious to most, just getting out that kind of energy. But you can let out anger that way through. Some people do it through boxing or martial arts, something that's kind of aggressive. But it doesn't have to be martial arts or punching, kicking. It could be just something that's like high energy workout, right? Because we don't normally move like that. And when we get angered, we get tense. We maybe throw our hands and feet around or punch something, kick something. So it's kind of like recreating that action, that release of energy. So those are some of the best things I've found. I hope some of that would be helpful for you. But if nothing else, I would just say, whether you're an INFJ or another personality, we just have to be very aware about when things are bothering us. And sometimes it just takes a second to stop and say, okay, what is this? Why am I feeling anxious? Fear, obviously, is probably the biggest one, which kind of encompasses everything, because anytime we feel anything awkward, out of the ordinary, there's a fear attached to it of it's going to get worse, or this will never go away. And it will. Pretty much everything is temporary, and change is ongoing. But we do have to process these emotions, and sometimes we can do it quickly, sometimes it takes a long time. But if we're aware of them and just observe it, recognize what it is, and then find some ways to deal with it, it can make a world of difference. And I'm giving myself this exact same advice right now as I give it to you. So I look forward to talking to you again soon with another topic. And until next time, I'll see you soon, genius.